here at the 9 o'clock position on Metropolis. We have our red Zerg player, the final hope from MVP, their ace and GSL Codex champion. It is DongRaeGu. And his opponent at the 12 o'clock position, having just defeated MVP Keen, winner of our Hot Import Nights event from Team Liquid, our blue Protoss player, Hero.
And man, I am so excited that the spawn positions turned out like this, because this is almost identical to their final game at Hot Import Nights. It actually is. The final game they played was on Metropolis. It was the bottom two positions instead of the top two, but Hero was on the top, DRG was on the bottom. In that game, what Hero did was end up going 2 Stargate, hiding some Void Rays and Phoenixes, and DRG just never saw it coming, and he ended up winning like that. So I'm actually like really excited that they've got essentially the same spawns. This is like a direct rematch of the final game they played just a couple weeks ago against each other.
Well, as we mentioned before, it's do or die for MVP now. DongRaeGu's their ace. You have to send him out now. He certainly has the potential not just to beat any player in the world, but take significant series off of them as well. So this is it's a good choice, but Hero certainly looks strong against him lately. 14 pool coming out for DongRaeGu. No surprise at all. Hero, though, is he going to save up for Nexus first or drop down that Forge?
It's probably going to be a Nexus first. I mean, that seems to be what Hero likes to do in nearly all of his Zerg versus Protoss games. I went back and I was watching some of these games from the replays later on to kind of study a little bit, and that's just kind of how Hero likes to play more often than not. And now I'm sure he'll put down a Forge just to prove me wrong. Nope, there we go, Nexus. Yes, thank you, Hero. You're my hero too now.
15 Nexus
yeah.
as well. We've seen a lot of players lately who've been going after 17 Nexus, and that's proven to be pretty effective. Oh, Hero just ducking back in and stopping the hatchery, but DongRaeGu eventually does get it up.
Yep, that's right. So the question is, where will Hero kind of go from here? I mean, obviously, as a Protoss player against Zerg, you have a huge multitude of different builds that work really well. Whereas Zerg has kind of one standard opening right now, and then it's really the mid-game where things start to diversify a bit for ZVP builds too. So I'm curious to see what Hero's going to choose to do after the way he won his last game. Now, I felt like at Hot Import Nights, one of the problems that DRG had was that he was making just a few too many drones. He was playing a little bit too economically aggressive against Hero, and it felt like every single time Hero came with that push, and it was a lot of 2-base timings, that DRG just had like just too few units because he had overdrone just slightly in that situation. So what I'd like to see out of DRG this game is for him to stay a little bit more diligent with his scouting than he did before, and just make absolutely certain that he's ready for those pushes from Liquid Hero.
And DongRaeGu does get down the hatchery just in time. As we can see back on Hero's side of things, nothing well, actually, I take that back a bit. I was about to say nothing too out of the ordinary. Just one gas coming up, and that is very out of the ordinary.
That is kind of interesting. That makes me wonder if we're maybe going to have like a +1 with a lot of gateways added into it. Could see something like that. But time will tell. Right now, both players just kind of getting the early phases of their builds going. DRG has his 3rd hatch down, as we saw, and just kind of continuing to drone. I like those. You can see he's making some Zerglings along with this, though, just to make sure he can be at a lot of places on the map right now. See if, for instance, Hero decides to take a quick third, or if he decides to move out. And you can be sure that he's also going to get his Overlords in a good spot, too. It's usually around the 6:30 to 7-minute mark when a Zerg player will sack an Overlord to run into the main to see what's up.
This is a very interesting build from Hero as well, and I'll be curious to see how he follows this up. There's 2nd gas. Let's see if he takes 2 more at the same time. No, actually, just going to sit on 2 gas for now, but certainly not going to be that overwhelming sentry count we always see at the beginning of most PvCs. It is going to be more Zealot Stalker heavy. Yeah,
he went Warp Gate and a Stalker, so no real quick +1 or anything like that. Not a whole lot of gas in general, so... Well, he's got some other options. I feel like it's going to be, you know, a lot of gateways, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Again, you know, time will tell. DRG continuing to make Zerglings along with this, seeming to play this very carefully. How many drones is he up to right now?
34.
It is only 34, yeah. So making a few more lings than he would normally make, but he just wants to be absolutely sure that his opponent doesn't get a pylon anywhere near his base, and he's going to be, oh, he did not see that probe.
No, he didn't.
Oh man, that's the reason why he has these Zerglings out there, is to look for this sort of thing, and he didn't see it. Okay, now he will see the probe. What?
Oh,
no,
no!
DRG.
He was looking away. He was worried about the
DRG.
forces up at the front, and he will be able to clean those up. He has
Yeah.
enough Zerglings and Queens to be able to dispatch of them. No +1, of course, on the way for Hero. Pretty good micro out of him, though, and he is going to be able to pick off most of those Zerglings there, but this probe is just waiting to drop down a pylon now outside of this third.
Yeah, and now DRG is probably not going to scout that area again because he's already been through it. So he thinks, all right, I was pretty much through all that. I didn't see a probe. I'm going to be pretty safe. Looks like a Robo Bay on the way for Hero. So he's going to maybe add on some Immortals. There's a +1 as well. Could also see a Warp Prism. This is a great map for Warp Prism stuff, and we are watching Liquid Hero play. He's like the king of Warp Prisms versus Zerg. In fact, he kind of made a name for himself early on with his PVZ Warp Prism play.
Well, we'll see how he follows this up, but of course, as mentioned, he does have gas number 4 just about to hit as well. The probe count's looking pretty good for him, and he has a ton of resources banked at the moment, so we could see a lot of gates. I'm just waiting for something to happen out of him, though.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, an Immortal. Okay. He's going to go with an Immortal.
There we go.
Yep. And some more gates. Yeah. Again, like I mentioned last time, 2-base timings are really what got him a lot of wins versus DRG. So it's like if it's not broke, don't fix it. He may go for this Nexus, but with the Immortals on the way too, I mean, I could see him just as easily making it and then canceling it to fake his opponent out. He's actually going to take out that. Okay, the Overlord is going to move away now, so he's not going to lose that. But DRG is not going to know if there's a third base too.
That is certainly true, but we'll see if Hero decides to drop that down at some point here. He does have a lot of resources still banked. This probe will finally get eliminated, so DRG's been, for the most part, kind of left alone. Are we going to see that rare macro game in this set?
I don't know, man. There's a Nexus on the way for Hero. Does have his second Immortal on the way. 2 more Gateways finishing here, too. And he is breaking down the rocks, so it certainly appears that he is going to go for a slightly longer game here. DRG getting his +1 missile attacks. A few more Gateways going down as well. So this is all kind of looking very defensive here. Oh, those Zerglings, though, trying to get in on the sentries. He does get one. Will he get a second one? Doesn't look like it.
Nope, unfortunately, just taking down the shields of a couple more units there. It does force a cancel on the Photon Cannon, continuing to be annoying, and the Zerglings serve their purpose. They know exactly what's up, but weren't able to kill too much in return. Snipe of 1 sentry was certainly nice, though.
Yep, that's right. Observers checking things out in the main base of DongRaeGu. It's going to see pretty much everything. See that the infestation pit is on the way. See that the lair has finished, of course. And so, yeah, it's going to be a longer army, or a longer game, rather. Hero getting that Twilight Council for Blink, most likely, getting going up to 1-1 as well. And he's going to have a strong late-game army, but this is anyone's game at this point.
Okay, well, third base is now finished, and Infestation Pit's finishing up. DongRaeGu's on a 4th base. Yay, macro PVZ! Okay, but taking stock of things, DongRaeGu hasn't started any of his drops or pneumatized carapace or anything like that, so not going to go down that route. Just starting those pathogen glands and banking some gas so we can start to put up his infestors pretty soon. Well, as soon as I say that, then he starts researching pneumatized carapace, so there we are.
Yep, that's right. Well, it's good to make your Overlords move around quickly. Now, there is a Warp Prism on the way for Liquid Hero right now, and keep in mind that the Warp Prism play that Hero started out with was very harass-oriented. He would just kind of warp units into a place here and there, move his Warp Prism very, very quickly to another location, and continue to harass. He picked up some Zealots there in that particular case, so he can always do the little maneuver where he drops the Zealots off in the main and then flies to the natural and warps in some more units there. So this is like classic Hero PVZ right now.
Well, the 4th base is finished for DongRaeGu, and he's already using it for mining. And his production tab was a little insane there. A few seconds ago, was stretching all the way out to the G on his name under our scoreboard. So, nice job cleaning up that Observer sitting in the middle of the map, and a ton of Zerglings on the way. Just a massive amount of Zerglings.
That's right, and here comes Hero, and deciding not... Yeah, is he going to drop off the Zealots? Nope, not in this case. I wouldn't want to drop Zealots into that either. He's going to get +2 weapons on the way. Blink is almost finishing now. And he's going over to Colossus Tech as well, unless he plans on using that for Warp Prism speed. A couple more gateways going down too. And overall, I feel like Hero just kind of starting to work on building up that Death Ball.
Yeah, but DongRaeGu has been playing this high-tech passive style pretty well, and we've seen that Zerg players have had a tendency lately to just kind of let Protoss players kill themselves on super high-tech Zerg armies. This, though, is pretty aggressive out of DongRaeGu.
Yeah,
we'll see if he can get this Nexus kill.
I don't think there's a passive bone in DRG's body, and he is actually going after that Nexus. Does Hero have enough force fields to save this? Yes, he does.
Oh, wow.
DRG, we got some of those Zerglings trapped as well. Could have been worse, and now he's running into the natural. Hero a little bit out of position here. There's roaches there as well. And Hero, though, I think he does have enough to hold this.
Yeah, I do too, but a little bit of damage inflicted here, but I think DongRaeGu could have done a little bit more. He's going to try and go back into the third one more time, though. Maybe try and take out this Nexus. No, doesn't have enough to do that, so he just gave up a lot of supply there and didn't really get all that much accomplished.
Yeah, he did. He's actually behind Hero in supply right now. You know, like I said, DRG just not the type of player to sit back and play passive in really any matchup right now, but it may come back to haunt him here because Hero's moving across the map again with that War Prism. His army really isn't any smaller than it was before the Zerglings came in. And now DRG is going to need to sit back and play the defender here for a little bit.
Well, DRG should be able to clean this up here in a second. May lose a queen, though. Yeah, the queen does die. And actually, the Zealots have really good position there on the Zerglings. They will finally be able to take him out here in a second. Nice job bungling the War Prism, but at the same time, Hero's moving through the middle of the map.
Yep, that's right. And he's got a Colossi. He's got Thermal Lance. He's also got several Immortals as well. The War Prism does go down, but is DRG in position to handle this here?
That is a lot of forces, and very strong ones at that. 4 Immortals, a Colossus there, 2. Range is finished, so this is the makings of a strong army from Hero. We'll see if DRG can hold.
Oh, man, here we go. That's a lot of Infestors. Hero may have made a mistake here. He's going to need to micro pretty well with this.
There were pretty good fungals up at the front there, catching a lot of those sentries, but DongRaeGu doesn't have a lot of meat to back this up at all. Stalker sitting on the high ground now. Does he have enough with the Infestors? I don't know if he does.
Yeah, using a lot of supply in those Zerglings earlier to not get a lot of damage done means that he doesn't have a lot to support all this. And Hero almost loses that Colossi, man, but now he's just got a strong army really threatening DRG's third base here, or fourth base rather.
Yeah, the Colossus does stay up, but this base will not, as those Immortals can just work on building so fast. It's ridiculous.
Wow, all right, so more reinforcements coming down the map, getting caught by DRG a little bit. Hero does need to be careful here. There are Corruptors too. So that Colossus, oh man, the Infestors just murdered. That does like the luckiest Colossus too. I mean, those Corruptors could come and just like one-shot that anytime they want to.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hero is on the verge of taking out DongRaeGu again and eliminating MVP from the tournament.
Yeah, I really feel like that Zergling attack from DRG just really hurt him in the long run. That Colossus certainly not going to survive very long, but I don't know if Hero even needs it at this point.
Nah. Well, we'll see here. He blinks forward, picks off a couple more Corruptors. Very nice target fire on the one that was running away there as well. And there it is! GG! Liquid has eliminated MVP! Wow. They are going to move on to play the winner of Prime versus StarTale.
Man, and Hero